What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be predicting the Royal Rumble PLE. This is one of my favorite PLEs of the year. There's no doubt about it that I think there's more hype for this than many PLEs during the year. Probably my favorite match type. I still don't think it matches WrestleMania hype, but my God, does this PLE generate hype every single year. And adding on top of that, WWE have sold 60,000 tickets. They're going to have likely a WrestleMania level attendance for this show. They smoked last year's attendance out of the water, and that arena is going to be filled up to watch this Royal Rumble, which could be generational. Maybe people are going to be disappointed by it. I have no idea. I think it's going to be both sides of the coin, but this Royal Rumble could end up being one of the best in its long storied history, depending on how things go. Obviously, depending on if people's expectations are met, or, you know, let's be honest. It's going to be a mixed bag either way. Let's be honest with you. Now, let's start with some of the non-Rumble match predictions. The DIY Motor City Machine Guns 2 out of 3 Falls match for the WWE Tag Team titles may actually be one of the best matches of the night. I'm not even kidding to you. The last time DIY was in a 2 out of 3 Falls match, it was one of the best tag team matches I've ever seen in my life. And I saw that match in person because I was there in NXT TakeOver Toronto. But DIY and Motor City Machine Guns, we finally got a tag team feud that, is a big spotlight. Tag team wrestling in WWE lately has felt very flat. And this really just keeps my confidence in it. Because this feud has been great. These are two of the best tag teams. Scratch that. They are the two best tag teams on SmackDown. However, do I think we're getting a title change here? Yes, I do actually. I do think the first fall will go to DIY, but I also think that Motor City Machine Guns are going to fight back and take the tag team titles as sort of like a tag team title change for the show. This match also will probably be in the middle of the show, which is the reason why I could see DIY retaining. But I would love to see Motor City Machine Guns win the titles back. And I can entirely see WWE doing a flip-floppy with these titles between DIY and Motor City Machine Guns. And that's exactly why I think DIY are going to lose at the Royal Rumble. Though I do think they should get a long reign with the titles. I don't think that's what WWE is honestly about to do. And like I said, I think the Women's Royal Rumble kicks off the show, and this will be probably the second match of the night. So this match is going to happen right after a Royal Rumble match. So hopefully the fans are into it. And because Motor City Machine Guns and DIY will. And this is not a matter of if they will deliver magic. It's when they deliver magic. Hopefully the fans are into it, because this match is going to absolutely tear the house down. And they're going to get a big crowd to do it. Next up, KO versus Cody Rhodes in a ladder match for the WWE title. Even though I wish it was for the Winged Eagle title, but whatever. Maybe we get a redesign, I don't know. This match is going to be bonkers. I'm expecting this match to at least be 25 to 30 minutes. Maybe I'm overshooting it, but who knows. Randy Orton's return is seeming more likely as the more I kind of think about how this PLE is going to shape out. Because Randy Orton, he was eyeing up that WWE title when Cody had it. And Randy's out because of KO in the first place. This feud has been really good. KO's heel arc has just been one of my favorite heel arcs in WWE. He is my favorite heel right now in WWE. I've always enjoyed KO's work. And I honestly deadass think that Cody losing the championship would not hurt him in the slightest. A lot of people just love KO. And I think this heel work deserves something. We talked about this last year. This is a different situation with Roman Reigns. Obviously last year Roman was not losing the title on the road to WrestleMania. Quite deadass, obviously. But Cody's a little different. Cody can afford a loss, win the championship before WrestleMania, and still get that WrestleMania main event anyways. Cody has also held the title for a long time. He has a good reign. And obviously, the story that Cody's gone through, you wouldn't be surprised if Cody held the title for an entire year, which I think he probably will do. But but KO, I mean, this would be a perfect way of KO just going over the top. And KO has had, I mean, KO is the king of Royal Rumble WWE title matches. He literally lost one to Roman Reigns before WrestleMania 39 and on the build to that. KO and Roman Reigns also Roman Reigns got ran over by KO by a golf cart. KO is Mr. Royal Rumble, arguably. I mean, that may be a little much, but who cares? But this match is going to be absolute carnage. I'm expecting someone to go through tables. What I'm quite frankly expecting is KO is going to probably have a breakaway. Randy Orton is going to screw him up. And Randy Orton is going to push him through a bunch of tables. Cody is going to win. And, Randy Orton's going to come back and the fans are going to be happy. And I don't know if this match plans to main event. If this match main events, things are going to get spicy. Very, very, very spicy. But I do expect that the most packed men's Royal Rumble match of all time main events, certainly. But this match is unpredictable compared to past years. When Roman Reigns was champion going into those last two Royal Rumbles, you'd be like, oh yeah, Roman's winning, obviously. But this feels different because I think that this is going to be another magical road to WrestleMania. And I actually am shooting for KO to win because I've just been, like I said, I'm a big fan of KO's work. And he's just downright hilarious and just downright great. It's not to say I'm not a fan of Cody. I feel like Cody can afford a loss. If he lost the title today, I don't think his WWE title reign has been that bad. And we could potentially get that KO and Sammy match at WrestleMania if The Rock... This is what makes this interesting to me. The scenario that The Rock decides to actually work WrestleMania, and they just go, oh, Cody and Rock doesn't necessarily need the title, which I don't think it necessarily does. I think that's a big WrestleMania match, of course. Cody's built himself to be a great star. And then you can do KO versus Sammy for the WWE title and have Sammy finally win the big one. Though, some people may not agree with that. Some people are oddly against Sammy for some reason. But that's just a thought that popped up in my head. But what I'm predicting is that Cody is going to win thanks to Randy Orton screwing over KO. That's what I think. Let's move on to the Women's Royal Rumble. I'm just going to go right off the bat. I'm going to name the surprises that I think are going to go down in the Women's Royal Rumble. Because both of these Royal Rumbles are very unexpected. There's not like a person you can point at and be like, I'm very, very certain she's winning. Or she and him are winning. Like I don't have that feeling this year. I don't have that feeling at all. The first surprise is the most obvious one, Jade Cargill. She's 100% coming back. And I suspect that Bianca and Naomi would have already made their entrances in the Royal Rumble during this match. She's going to go after who attacked her, who I definitely think it is Naomi. Though it would be quite interesting if they sort of, they swerved it and they went in the direction of Bianca Belair. And they do go down that storyline that Bianca was jealous of Jade Cargill entering the WWE and being just as strong as her. But I do think Jade Cargill is going to return most definitely at the Royal Rumble. That's my thing. And I think Asuka's going to return. We haven't heard anything. There was a report from Fightful, shout out to them, that there maybe Asuka could be returning soon. And there's been discussions over what potential form Asuka could return in. And I think Asuka returning at the Royal Rumble would be a perfect place for her. She could go ham. She can come back in that face paint. And she could come back, Kana style, kicking ass, eliminating people. And I think maybe making a top 5 run. Maybe even doing what she did in 2023 when she returned. New theme song. Though I don't want them to get rid of the theme song. I think Asuka's theme song was one of the few things that Death Rebel got right. And I do think Asuka can make a surprise deep run in the Royal Rumble if she makes her return. Because Asuka is a main event player. I will stand by that. When Asuka returns, eventually I want her to be back in singles women's title competition again. She's perfectly capable of not being spam tagged with Kairi Sane this time. Like I think Kairi Sane is just as good as singles as she is a tag team. So I think Asuka's gonna return, and I think Kairi Sane's gonna return as well. Though Kairi's a tricky one because Kairi recently got injured, and Kairi hurt her hand, I believe, and it would be awesome to see the Kabuki Warriors reunite in the Royal Rumble. And unlike last Royal Rumble, where they entered the Royal Rumble as tag team champions and didn't really get the success they deserved in that Rumble, I would love if Kairi and Asuka came back this time and absolutely took out a lot of the field. I would love that. And I, quite frankly, we're lacking the women's division is just getting decimated by injuries, and having Asuka, Jade, Kairi come back would be massive. And with Kairi and Asuka both being able to do singles and tag team really well, those would be massive, massive returns. And with Dakota Kai recently, I think she got a concussion. I think Io needs Kairi Sane right now to help her out. Now this is just based off. This next one is based off a rumor. I guess you can say rumor. Well, it's not really a rumor anymore. There was reports saying that Trish Stratus is in Indianapolis out of this weekend. So I am just going to make this prediction before anybody else does. Trish Stratus is going to enter the Royal Rumble. And as we saw from Trish Stratus' last run, she still got it in the ring, brother. That steel cage match with Becky Lynch was a masterclass. And I think she's going to interact with Becky again. And I do think Trish is probably going to enter closer to the end, maybe even be like the number 30. But Trish Stratus is going to enter the Royal Rumble, and she's going to kick ass again. Next one, Jordynne Grace. I know that some people may not think she's going to be in there. And if you follow social media, Jordynne Grace has apparently got a family thing to go to this weekend, and she says she won't be in Indianapolis. I don't believe that. I personally think that Jordynne Grace is going to make her WWE debut fully as a WWE superstar at the Royal Rumble. She's going to come in early, and she's going to probably last around 20 minutes before getting eliminated by one of the favorites to win. I think this is a obvious way to debut Jordynne Grace, and no matter what brand she's on, and I think she should be on the main roster. I think the women's division in NXT is good enough. They don't need Jordynne Grace. They don't need Jordynne Grace down there in NXT. I think they need her on the main roster to be this big player that comes in and gets pushed straight to the top. So I think that Jordynne Grace shows up at the Royal Rumble, kicks some ass, just like last year, gets eliminated by one of the favorites to win, and that's who I think she is. Masha Slamovich. This one I'm fairly certain on. Masha Slamovich was recently in attendance in NXT. She interacted with HBK, TNA, and WWE. Then the next day announced their collaboration. And I do think we're going to see the TNA Knockouts champion there in the Royal Rumble, interacting with, of course, Jordynne Grace. So I think that's going to happen. And Masha Slamovich is fantastic. So, her getting the attention in front of those big people, in front of, like, all of those people, it's going to be well-deserved for Masha when she shows up. From NXT, Julia. I think this is the only one. I think Julia is going to show up with the NXT Women's Championship. And I need to see a Julia and Io Sky face-off. That I could die happy with that. Just to tease something, just for WWE to acknowledge that we want to see that match so badly. I want to see that match. Julia coming in. I don't suspect they're going to give Julia a ton of time in the Rumble. Julia is sort of like someone I can see being in the middle numbers. But just Julia going in there and the crowd being aware that Julia is an absolute beast, headbutting people. And at least I would like to see Julia pick up 3 or 4 eliminations. Just to show that the NXT Women's Champion, when she's a beast in NXT, and when she goes to the main roster, she's someone you need to watch out for. Let all the casuals know that Julia is a beast. Now, this one's not really NXT, but Roxanne is obviously going to be in the Royal Rumble. She hasn't fully announced it yet, but since Bayley's in the Royal Rumble and Roxanne is feuding with Bayley right now, and I don't think that feud is over, Roxanne's going to be in the Royal Rumble, and she is going to eliminate Bayley. Flat out simple. A lot of people think it's going to be Io Sky eliminating Bailey, no. Roxanne's going to eliminate her, and Roxanne is going to be on SmackDown. And I know Roxanne still has NXT commitments, but I think Roxanne's got one foot in the door. I think they're doing a thing where Roxanne is kind of on her last stretches. She's going to be, competing. I think literally her next match is going to be in Inventions Day. They got the Summit next week. But Roxanne is going to be in the Royal Rumble, and she's just going to be feuding with a bunch of main roster people. I wouldn't even be surprised if she pisses more main roster people off. Like maybe instead of Bailey, she pisses someone else off. But Roxanne's going to be in the Royal Rumble. And the final 5. Charlotte's not a surprise. She's been announced for the Royal Rumble. And I like to do the final 5 rather than the final 4. I think the final 5 makes more sense. Final 5, Charlotte Flair. Easy. Charlotte Flair is going to have arguably the most eliminations during the Royal Rumble. So I think Charlotte Flair is going to be in the final 5. She's just going to kick some ass. She's going to come in maybe with a new theme song. I could see her getting a new theme song. If it is, just go back to the OG one instead of just ruining it with something from Death Rebel trash. Second, Io Sky. We need to see Io Sky in the final 5. I'm fairly confident. There is no way that WWE does not see, especially Triple H, there's no way he does not see that we want Io Sky to win the Royal Rumble. And there's no way that he will not troll us. I think Io Sky could realistically enter at an early number and make it towards the end, and she'll just be eliminated in the final 2, and we'll be all depressed. But Io Sky is definitely going to be final 5 for sure. And so is Becky. Becky's going to be a surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble as well. But it's one of the obvious ones for me. I think Becky's like in any time now. And I think Becky's going to make her return. And she's going to be in the final 5, no matter if she's returning later or whatever. Becky is going to be back in the Royal Rumble. Bianca. There was a report that stated that Bianca Belair and Rhea is being considered for WrestleMania, and I cannot say no to that. I love Io. I really want her to be in the Royal Rumble. I really want her to face Rhea at WrestleMania. But I will not say no to a match that has Bianca and Rhea Ripley in it. Hell no. And because of this rumor, I'm going to safeguard Bianca into the final 5, and I'm also going to put Liv Morgan in the final 5 because of the WWE history of Liv Morgan being in the final 2 to be eliminated. I do think Liv is not going to be in the final 2 this year, but I do think Liv is going to make it towards the end because, Raquel is going to be guarding her, and Liv is going to hide until the final 5. The winner is going to be Io Sky. I think they're going to pull the trigger, and because I think this is just as valuable. Winning the Elimination Chamber match to get to WrestleMania as a number 1 contender is as valuable as winning the Royal Rumble, because you can go after the other world title. And I think the reason why is I think Io Sky should win this Royal Rumble and not make a decision for a while. I think if you can have Charlotte, if you're gonna have her be a heel, have her lose the Royal Rumble and then returning, her get angry up to her winning the Elimination Chamber. Charlotte, if you want to make Charlotte Flair the most obvious chamber winner ever, go ahead. I want to see Io Sky surprisingly win the Royal Rumble, and I want to see her versus Rhea at WrestleMania. I would love to see Bianca and Rhea, but I just need to see Io and Rhea since they teased it already. Now let's start with the men's surprises. I think Malachi Black, this is a stretch, because I think Malachi Black isn't debuting until like literally Elimination Chamber time. But I think something's going to happen, weirdly. I think something's going to happen that allows Malachi Black to debut now. And I think he's going to show up in the Royal Rumble. I don't know. I think Andrade's contract was already expired when he showed up in the Royal Rumble, so this one's a little bit tricky. But I think Malachi Black's going to show up. Omos, he's been dynamite in Noah. And I think Omos is going to show up and probably be one of the more later entries. I think Omos is actually going to get a very solid reaction this time. Joe Hendry, he's a lock. The WWE wants to show that TNA wants that title on TV. And millions of people are going to be watching the Royal Rumble. Joe Hendry's going to be in there. And I'm actually going to say Joe Hendry is going to eliminate a big name. I don't know. I don't know who that big name's gonna be, but I think Joe Hendry's gonna eliminate a big name. Trick Williams, he's a lock. He's angry right now. He's pissed. He's gonna take off. He's gonna enter the Royal Rumble. Maybe in the first two spots with Whoop That Trick, but I think Trick Williams is angry. He's going to be entering the Royal Rumble. Ethan Page, I think it makes sense. Ethan Page, I think is already main roster ready. And I think Ethan Page is a lock because he's another guy that can be a troll in the Royal Rumble. And then lastly, Obafemi. I think Obafemi is going to be in the Royal Rumble. I mean, Obafemi, his next task is to take on Grayson Waller and Austin Theory at Vengeance Day. I think Obafemi having an interaction with Braun Breaker, Penta, and any big star, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, I think Obafemi is going to enter the Royal Rumble. Final, also, for Iron Man, Carmelo Hayes. I think I would be more angry if Carmelo Hayes wasn't the Iron Man. Give this guy 40 minutes. Give this guy 40 minutes, and we can all tweet to give him his flowers after. This guy deserves it. Melo has been the king of the mid card lately, and that's not an exaggeration. Everything that Carmelo Hayes has done has been gold, and he deserves it. And I think he should be a future world champion in this company. And of course, with the most men's eliminations, I think is going to be Roman Reigns. This is a lock. I think it's an easy prediction to make. I think I almost went with Jacob Fatu, but I think Roman Reigns is just going to go in there and cause even more havoc than Jacob Fatu already is. And that leads me to my men's final five, which I think is, of course, going to be, we're just going to keep it on the camera on Roman Reigns. Well, Roman Reigns. CM Punk's going to be in the final five. I would not be surprised if CM Punk entered at number 20-something. CM Punk, I think, enters later on in the Royal Rumble. John Cena. John Cena is going to have a decent amount of eliminations to his name. I don't see John Cena entering late. I see John Cena entering like in the teens and AAing people out of the ring. That's what I think is going to happen. Drew McIntyre, simple. Drew McIntyre is a beast. He's been winning matches lately. Seth Rollins, I think it's academic that the final five, Seth Rollins being in the ring with everybody he hates. Drew, Roman, Punk. Seth Rollins might go be fucking nuts in that chamber, in that Royal Rumble. I think that final five is also very obvious to me that the Royal Rumble, that's what's going to be during the Royal Rumble. But CM Punk is going to win the whole thing. And I think CM Punk is going to eliminate... Are you ready for it? CM Punk is going to eliminate John Cena to win the Rumble. I know. That's a bold prediction. But it's one that I'm willing to make. I don't know why. I think Punk and Cena is the final two. It's an explosion in the childhood. That's what I think is going to happen. And I think John Cena is going... And I think this is going to lead to John Cena being obviously booked for the Elimination Chamber. And he is going to win that thing. He's going to go Super Cena. He's going to eliminate all five guys. And that is pretty much how I think the Royal Rumble is going to act. Like I said, it took me 23 minutes to get through here because I just love talking about the Royal Rumble. I love talking about the what-ifs of the Royal Rumble. So if you guys enjoy, hit the subscribe button. And I will hopefully have more videos along the way. And hopefully for the first time in a while, we'll have a Royal Rumble post-show where we can talk about what happened the same night it did happen. Hope you guys enjoy. Peace.